home care business tips and strategies. Now, I want to go through four of the biggest game changers that we've had in our agency. And I want to let you know that these are some of the things that you need to have dialed in order to be successful in your agency. So, number one is going to be focusing on quality of care. Now, that may seem pretty obvious, but 95% of home care owners out there, they don't look at the whole process of their care delivery. So, you want to really be looking into right from when the lead calls in to the assessment to start of care to ongoing. You want to make sure that you have, call scripts when somebody calls in, exactly who's going to take that call. What are you going to say to them? You want a consistent process that works so you can test different things out, find a process that works. But what I'm really trying to get at here is just making sure that you take your quality of care, list out every single step that's involved in that, no matter how small. List out every step of that and basically pick it apart and see, okay, how can I make this step better? How can I make this more efficient for the team? But most of all, how can I make it easiest for the client? And what's going to make them, trust us and trust in our services? So you want to also be measuring that client satisfaction. So I know like Home Care Pulse does it, but they do client satisfaction surveys. So you can use them or you can do in-house. There's a ton of great.us, I believe it is. You can go to, they'll send out like review requests and things like that. And you can get that feedback from the clients. So you know exactly what you need to work on, because no matter what business you are, you will always have something that you need to improve, that you can do better. So number two is going to be building relationships. So as far as networking, in the home care industry, networking in person is the number one way to get referrals. So you can look at all the different ways, sending out flyers, putting up yard signs, online on your Facebook account. That's great in combination with network marketing, but you cannot start a non-medical home care agency without doing in-person, marketing at these events, going to the communities, going to the facilities. There has to be a high level of trust build up, because you need to build those relationships in a friendly way. You want to be going in there. You don't want to be just dropping by and being a nuisance for them. They're extremely busy. You want to drop by. You want to add value. You want to be offering to help out at events. If they're busy, respect their time, and ultimately be a friendly person, be a friend to them, ask them personal questions, ask them about their wife, their kids, their dogs, ask them all about that stuff and remember it for next time you go in, because you want to form a personal relationship. You're looking for more of a friendship, not so much just a very superficial business conversation. So you don't want to go in there asking for referrals. You want to really, establish that foundation with that person so that they trust you. They will send referrals to you. Number three is going to be building a brand and online reputation. So by building a brand, one thing that we do in our agency that's really helpful, we help all of our caregivers. They wear the exact same color scrubs with the exact same logo on them. So we have consistency across the board. In addition to that, we have our office staff that has all the exact same clothing that we wear out. So when people see us out, they identify that's that agency's brand, that's their clothing. So you want to create consistency, but you also want to stand out a little bit. Don't do, the same colors, the same thing that everybody else is doing. Try and be a little bit unique, a little bit different, but ultimately try and establish that brand. And you do that with consistency. You give out, we give out pens at every different community. So we have pens, we have the uniforms. They understand that that's our brand and that's how you're going to build that brand. So definitely do that. Online reputation, make sure you get as many reviews as you can. It's not easy in the senior care industry because there's a lot of seniors that don't use it, but also because they're in a tough situation, right? You have a high demand client, maybe a stroke client that, needs a high level of care. So you have your caregivers coming out there to help out. So it's a kind of a tough time when they're struggling with their family member to be asking them for reviews. So there's a time and a place. You have to wait for one, that the client's very happy with your services before you request the review. And number two, you want to make sure that it's the right timing. Was it a hospice case and their parent just passed away? Not the best timing, right? But maybe if they're really happy with services, maybe a couple weeks after that. So just make sure you have that timing down. Number four is going to be employee training and retention. Now, everybody knows about the staffing crisis. It's nothing new. So we want to make sure that we have a robust training program and also things in place so that we're going to retain those caregivers.